The Roman Empire stands as one of history's most influential civilizations, shaping law, culture, and governance across continents. Its architectural marvels, legal systems, and language continue to impact the modern world. Yet, despite its power and reach, the empire eventually fell, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in intrigue. Historians have long debated the reasons for Rome's collapse, pointing to a complex web of internal weaknesses and external pressures. The enduring mystery of how such a formidable empire unraveled continues to captivate scholars and the public alike. Understanding the fall of Rome offers valuable insights into the rise and decline of great societies throughout history. Historians have long debated the reasons behind the fall of Rome, often pointing to a combination of interrelated factors. Economic decline played a significant role as the empire struggled with inflation, heavy taxation, and a reliance on slave labor that stifled innovation. Military defeats further weakened Rome, as repeated invasions by barbarian tribes exposed vulnerabilities along its vast borders. Political instability also contributed, with frequent changes in leadership and internal power struggles undermining effective governance. Together, these challenges eroded the foundations of Roman society, setting the stage for the empire's eventual collapse. Internal corruption played a significant role in undermining the stability of the empire. Officials often prioritized personal gain over public service, leading to widespread misuse of resources and erosion of trust. Political intrigue became commonplace, with rival factions vying for power through manipulation and betrayal. These internal struggles distracted leaders from addressing external threats and weakened the effectiveness of governance. As corruption spread, the empire's institutions grew less capable of maintaining order and responding to crises. Ultimately, this environment of mistrust and self-interest contributed to the gradual decline of the empire from within. Throughout Roman history, secret societies and clandestine groups often operated beneath the surface of public life. These organizations, sometimes driven by political ambition or religious fervor, could undermine the authority of the state. Conspiracies such as the Catalan conspiracy revealed the extent to which discontented elites and marginalized citizens might plot against the established order. Additionally, underground religious movements, including early Christianity, spread quietly, challenging traditional Roman values and authority. The existence of these secret networks made it difficult for Roman leaders to maintain control, fueling suspicion and prompting harsh crackdowns. Over time, the persistent threat of hidden alliances contributed to instability within the empire. Beneath the surface, the empire faced a series of hidden economic crises that gradually undermined its stability. Inflation eroded the value of currency, making everyday transactions increasingly difficult for citizens. Taxation became more burdensome as authorities struggled to fund the military and public projects, often resorting to harsh collection methods. Meanwhile, the collapse of long-standing trade networks disrupted the flow of goods and resources, leading to shortages and further economic strain. These interconnected problems weakened the foundation of the economy, contributing to a climate of uncertainty and decline. Beneath the surface of apparent stability, powerful factions began to emerge, each vying for influence and control. These groups operated discreetly, often hidden from public view, yet their impact was profound. As their power grew, the lines between loyalty and ambition blurred. Trusted officials, once pillars of integrity, were swayed by promises of personal gain or coerced by threats. This internal betrayal undermined the very foundations of governance, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and uncertainty. The unseen threats from within proved to be as dangerous, if not more so, than any external adversary. Espionage and sabotage played significant roles in undermining the stability of the Roman Empire. Spies infiltrated Roman ranks, gathering critical intelligence that was often relayed to rival states or rebellious factions. Saboteurs targeted key infrastructure such as roads, aqueducts, and supply lines, disrupting communication and the movement of troops. These covert actions weakened the empire's ability to respond swiftly to threats and maintain control over its vast territories. Over time, the cumulative effect of espionage and sabotage eroded both military strength and public confidence, making Rome more vulnerable to external invasions and internal dissent. During the early centuries of the Common Era, societies across Europe and the Mediterranean underwent profound religious transformation. Pagan traditions, rooted in centuries-old rituals and beliefs, faced increasing pressure from the rise of Christianity. While some communities openly embraced the new faith, others clung to their ancestral customs, often practicing them in secret. This period was marked by hidden tensions as old gods and new doctrines competed for the hearts and minds of the people. In many cases, elements of paganism were subtly woven into Christian practices, creating a complex tapestry of belief. The struggle between these worldviews shaped not only religious life, but also art, culture, and social structures for generations to come. As the Roman Empire began to wane, vast amounts of wealth and treasures seemingly vanished without a trace. Historians have long debated the fate of Rome's legendary riches, from gold coins and precious gems to elaborate works of art. Some believe these treasures were looted by invading forces, while others suggest they were hidden by fleeing elites hoping to safeguard their fortunes. Over time, records of these assets faded, and many artifacts were lost to history. The disappearance of Roman wealth remains one of antiquity's most intriguing mysteries, fueling countless theories and legends. Even today, archaeologists continue to search for clues that might reveal what truly happened to the empire's lost treasures. As Rome's power began to wane, its leaders increasingly turned to alliances with various barbarian tribes. These agreements, often forged in secrecy, were meant to bolster Rome's military strength and maintain control over its vast territories. However, such deals frequently involve granting land, titles, or autonomy to these groups, undermining the authority of the Roman state. Over time, the reliance on external forces eroded Rome's internal cohesion and made it vulnerable to manipulation. The very tribes once seen as allies eventually became powerful enough to challenge Roman rule. These secretive arrangements, intended as short-term solutions, ultimately accelerated the empire's decline and paved the way for its eventual collapse. Throughout history, plagues have dramatically altered the course of societies, decimating populations and weakening entire civilizations. The spread of infectious diseases often led to labor shortages, economic decline, and social upheaval. In the context of military operations, outbreaks could cripple armies, reducing their effectiveness and sometimes determining the outcome of conflicts. The potential use of biological warfare introduces an even more deliberate threat, as pathogens could be weaponized to target enemy forces or civilian populations. Such tactics not only cause immediate casualties, but also instill fear and disrupt social order. The consequences of these events underscore the vulnerability of both populations and militaries to biological threats, highlighting the importance of preparedness and robust public health measures. Environmental disasters and climate change played a significant role in undermining the stability of the empire. Periods of prolonged drought, unpredictable weather patterns, and devastating floods disrupted agriculture, leading to food shortages and economic strain. These environmental challenges weakened the empire's ability to support its population and maintain its infrastructure. As resources became scarce, social tensions grew, making the empire more vulnerable to internal unrest and external threats. Over time, the cumulative effects of these natural events eroded the foundations of imperial power, contributing to its eventual decline. In the final days of the Roman Empire, internal strife and secret betrayals undermined the very foundations of its leadership. Trusted officials turned against one another, driven by personal ambition and fear. Alliances shifted rapidly, and loyalty became a rare commodity among Rome's ruling elite. As suspicions grew, decisive action was often replaced by hesitation and intrigue. The once unified command fractured, leaving the empire vulnerable to both internal dissent and external threats. This atmosphere of mistrust accelerated the collapse, signaling the end of an era that had dominated the ancient world for centuries. The fall of Rome marked a turning point in European history, leaving behind a legacy that would shape the continent for centuries. As the empire crumbled, its hidden intrigues and internal conflicts came to light, revealing the vulnerabilities that contributed to its downfall. These dark secrets, from political corruption to economic instability, served as cautionary tales for emerging European kingdoms. In the aftermath, new powers rose from the ruins, drawing lessons from Rome's failures and successes alike. The influence of Roman law, culture, and governance persisted, weaving itself into the fabric of medieval Europe. Ultimately, the shadow of Rome's collapse guided the evolution of European societies, reminding future generations of the delicate balance required to sustain a civilization. Reflecting on Rome's fall reveals that its demise was shaped by a complex web of hidden factors, far beyond the obvious tales of invading armies. Economic instability, political corruption, and shifting cultural values all played crucial roles in undermining the empire's foundations. These subtle forces, often overlooked, gradually eroded Rome's resilience from within. Today, the lessons from Rome's experience remind us of the importance of vigilance in maintaining societal stability and integrity. By recognizing and addressing underlying challenges early, modern societies can better safeguard their own futures against similar decline.